Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's Brave Cat here once again with another Frontier Signals update. So just to kind of give a little overview with these feeds right now, I had a little bit of a hang up because, well, all of a sudden, pretty much all these feeds stopped working, and I thought something horrible went wrong, something broke, even this one wasn't showing up, and so I was kind of dreading figuring out why that was. But if that ever happens, it looks like you can go to the SDO website and, well, it looks like they were having some sort of hardware failure with their data. And, well, it looks like they actually already got it fixed. So I've just been sitting here digging through things, trying to figure out what was going on. And then all of a sudden it all just magically started working again. So I guess that's something for the future if you go here, or really on most other different space weather live feed websites, and these suddenly stop working. It's most likely an issue with their websites hosting those feeds, so just thought I'd mention that. But other than that, everything space weather related has been pretty calm. Nothing really to talk about there. Even the sunspots have been chill. Nothing's been developing, so that's always good. And with that being said, there is quite a bit to talk about here on the volcanic side, and a little bit with earthquakes, so I'll just kind of cover that. So if we go here and on volcano discovery, most of the volcanoes on this list, which it is quite a long list, a lot of these are going to be in Indonesia, and there's this one that I want to talk about here. So as I was kind of adding more of these volcano locations to my little Google Maps thing here, I came across this one here. And so when you click on it, and I'll just open it in a new tab, it doesn't show up as Taelong, it shows up as this basalt kind of area here. So this is actually what looks to be an ancient volcano that has not erupted in the past 10,000 years, making it, what is that, Pleistocene? Yeah, so this whole plateau basically doesn't really have an actual volcano there, but there's evidence of basalt flats, or kind of whatever this geological area would be. So right now it's basically just full of farmland, and I'm not exactly sure why it's on here, because when you look at this on here, it says there was continued unrest, and then when you go to read more, basically it takes you here and gives you a little bit of a background on the area, but it doesn't actually give any information on what's actually going on there now. So I'll just keep an eye on that, because that's exactly the kind of thing I'm looking for in these lists here, is to see things that are unusual. So if this area is indeed waking up volcanically, then that could be definitely something to keep monitoring. And so yeah, I was right in the middle of just adding various volcanoes in this entire region. There's quite a few more on this entire list. Again, most of these are in Indonesia, whether it's in East Java, West Java, and then we got like Central Java. So there's quite a few volcanoes in this region. So there's a lot of volcanic unrest happening throughout the entire Indo-Australian plate and the whole West Pacific here, basically. So that is what I found for today. And yeah, I'm waiting on Ben to see what this later evening video is going to be. He's having that live premiere happening here in about half an hour, so I'll be seeing what that's all about. But in the meantime here, just going to do this update really quick. So that's basically what I found here. Don't think there was really anything else that was too out of the ordinary. We've got Shishaldin back on the list, and then the rest of it is a lot of these that have been ongoing, mostly in Central and South America. Let's see, I don't think I'm not too familiar with this name on here. And, well, it looks like it's probably because this doesn't really see much activity, so looks like I got some more digging around here to look at. And again, I want to have my Google Maps here basically just filled with volcano locations, ancient structures, and, well, I guess really anything else that comes to mind here. Sometimes I'll put a earthquake swarm on here, like the one that was in Italy. So, you know, just kind of slowly broadening the research here that I've been doing. And we'll take that into the earthquakes here. So first we'll look at what's been going on in the whole West Pacific for basically the last 7 days, where I noticed if we're looking at 5.0 and greater activity, pretty much the only few spots that have not been hit is going to be Philippines, Japan itself, and then down here south, kind of the eastern side of, well, this is Papua New Guinea. So again, I'm also slowly getting better at geography skills. So if we click on, I have a place mark for Indonesia, because when you click on it, you can see highlighted the entire region. So we have volcanic activity going pretty much all throughout here. And then we have Papua New Guinea over here is again going to be a spot that we could watch for, at least maybe some sort of 5.0 activity to be striking these areas in between the previously hit zones. At least that's what I basically see there. So now let's take things really quickly to the states, where I'll kind of reverse the feed here, where I'll have it display all earthquakes, and then I just drag the time slider to maybe about the last couple days or so, where it looks like we see a new small little stack here up here at the border of Wyoming and Montana. So I was kind of looking around on this, but really quickly here I will pull it up on Google Maps because, well, I mean, it is close to Yellowstone. Now, of course, look, Yellowstone is a completely broken volcano. There's many sources that agree that there's very little, if no chance, of Yellowstone erupting, especially with all the pressure that's being released through the geysers, and the magma chambers themselves are essentially broken, so there's not really any ability for pressure to build up in the system to actually cause any sort of eruption. But it is sort of close by, so I was looking around here just to see if there was anything unusual or whatever, but looks like all I could really find is some logging and foresting areas here. So they're just kind of, you know, chopping down a lot of trees, and I don't really see anything else to mention around here. So could be really anything, I'm not exactly sure. But other than that, we have had a new uptick in the swarm of tremors going on kind of northwest of the San Francisco Bay Area. So these are the tremor stacks that we do want to monitor because it shows the pressure and the movement in the plate on the west coast going through here. So that can definitely give us an indication of what's going on. And this is pretty much to be predicted here based off of the new round of activity that we saw going on over here with these 6s going into 5s and just spreading all the way down the Northwest Pacific with a new range of activity. So that is to be expected, and if we see anything change, then that might indicate something happening in terms of potential larger earthquakes. And other than that, there hasn't really been a whole lot. We've had some of that residual pressure kind of go past here into the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. There was a new 4.6 down here in Panama, right in between these previous sets of 4s. So again, we're always looking at the middle points to see potential for the next round of activity. And overall, things are not really on an uptick or a downtick. It is just kind of in a stable mode of unrest. So that pretty much rounds off all of the things I wanted to cover for today. I don't think there was really anything else. Again, I wanted to kind of reiterate the little bit of a panic I had, like, uh-oh, my feeds are all broken. What's going to happen now? But looks like these are back up and running again, so nothing to worry about there. So it was basically half of the things on this page were not loading. So I got a little bit worried, especially because I'm getting extremely close to having this be a live website. Basically today I was just doing a lot of the boring, tedious measures with the meta tags and like just boring web page stuff that I had to figure out. But again, things are one step closer, and I'm hoping I can get this thing pushed out here pretty soon. So with that, I think that'll about wrap it up for today. So hope you all enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you all in the next.